everyone, welcome back to another video with your wonderful host, Lady Lilla. Today I have a special video for all of you with my first ever animation project, my Pokedance animation. If you've been in the Pokemon fandom lately, you would have seen this animation posted on Pokemon Day on the official Pokemon YouTube channel, a short multi-animator project with each trainer dancing with the starter Pokemon of their select region. From there, many fans have taken this and made their own spin on it using their top 3 favorite Pokemon, and I decided, why not try it myself? I'm also conveniently studying animation, so I may as well put this to good use and use it for content too. Starting off, I was inspired by the frame guide by Funtime Art Creations on TikTok, who posted a 45 frame guide of the first trainer in the original Pokedance video. I took that, put each frame into Ibis Paint, and it looks like this. Next, I did the line art. It didn't take too long, and it looks like this. The third stage of this animation was probably the most time-consuming, the clothes of my character. As you might recognize, I created my PNG tuber avatar as the trainer. Using my art from my Valentine's Day design a year ago, I added the overalls, shirt, socks, horns, hair, and skin and colored them in. I did change the socks to plain blue instead of the rainbow because I wasn't super interested in doing the recoloring so many times or drawing shoes. I didn't want to add facial expressions though, as I'm very new to animation and I went with a featureless face, something I've had a habit of doing in some of my art with human or humanoid characters. Stage 4 of the animation process was where I needed to take some creative liberties with what Pokemon I would pick. I wanted to pick 3 simple-ish Pokemon for this animation, something I could easily loop with a simple action like waving, hovering, or swaying a tail. And despite Rayquaza being my favorite Pokemon, there was no way I could easily animate it into this video. Therefore, I had to resort to some simpler Pokemon to implement. The first 2 came to me very easy, Ranunculus and Eevee. Ranunculus is just a sweet little guy and I love him very much. And Eevee I knew I could experiment with and add an evolution on for later, and you'll have to keep watching to see which one I evolve it into. The third and final Pokemon I added was quite a struggle to pick. I knew I couldn't add Rayquaza, and I'd already added my 2 favorites, so what others could I use? Searching for inspiration, I turned to my channel name and its inspiration, Ladybugs. It's a rather fitting addition, and so I added Ledian as the third and final Pokemon to this animation. Each Pokemon took roughly 4 hours each to add, which in my opinion is pretty fast given I have almost no experience with animating in general and I was teaching myself how to use the Ibis Paint animation software, and honestly it wasn't as hard as I thought. I've seen animation studies before, I know how onion skins work, the principles of animation and stuff like that, so I had a pretty good idea of how to get started. The difference between the trainer and the Pokemon was references. With the trainer, I found a frame-by-frame guide by Funtime Art Creations on TikTok, but for the Pokemon, I had to completely freehand it, which was terrifying. I started with Ranunculus, since the Pokemon is mostly just a formless blob, and I can't really mess that up. Several hours later, I had this. Next was Eevee, and I was just going to have it bob its head to the beat, but then I was struck with inspiration. I could make it evolve. Easily enough, I created a series of golden rings that swarmed around Eevee's shape and replaced them with Espeon. I know it's not how Pokemon usually look when they evolve, as seen in the anime they turn into this light blue light that shapeshifts, but I like how this turned out. As for picking an evolution, I was initially going to do Leafeon for the color theme, but I felt this matched the shape better and would be easier to transfer in animation. Here's what that looks like. Last but not least, I added Ledian. Although I originally planned to add Ladybug, I didn't want to add another flying creature in the animation, so I tried a wobbling on the spot dance to finish it off, and it looked adorable. The only tricky part about this one was how the outline looked. The Ranunculus didn't have an outline, but this was an intentional choice given it's just slime with very minimal definition to its form. As for Eevee and Espeon, the body is entirely one colour transitioning to another solid colour. Ledian, however, has multiple colours and therefore I had to make a choice. In the end, I went with a thin black line for the outline, which looks very solid and looks like this. With each Pokemon and the trainer complete, here is the final animation of my trainer Sona in the Pokedance animation. I hope you all enjoyed me sharing this process, and I hope it encourages you all to give animation a try. Plenty of services are available depending on your choice of platform as well, as I used Ibis Paint for mine, but there are also things like Krita, Adobe Photoshop, FlipperClip, and more. If I do inspire you, please share your projects with me in the comments below and tell me what Pokemon would be in your Pokedance. But that's it for now, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.